Brothers and sisters, we are blessed here with a short little time left in Ramadan. May Allah accept everybody's fasting and everybody's charity and prayers, and may Allah give us the means and the strength to continue a good part of this type of commitment after Ramadan. And that's what we see all around us. We see a life of people who are kind of running after worldly enjoyment, status, wealth, gadgets. And we find people around us who are committed to different things for different reasons. And they feel like that gives them purpose. And so whether you're looking on the media, watching television, at the workplace, school, society at large, there's this pressure, a pressure to conform to what is seen as normal of society. But what is normal and who decides that? Some of us may look around and look at others and say, well, these are good people, and they seem to be happy, and they're doing just fine without being Muslim, without having to pray 5 times a day, without having to seek the truth and promote it to the world. So the question is natural. Who decides what is purpose? What is value? What is worth? What do we gain in the grand scheme of things? Obviously, we know that God created everything. Allah will decide what He will do with His creation. We are thankful and grateful and happy to be part of it. We see around us countless creations throughout the universe and on earth. We see plants and animals and people and rock formations, seas, oceans, all kinds of things. And each one of those has a specific purpose that He created it for. Everything is meant to be something, and it's meant to be used for some purpose. But the underlying purpose of that purpose is to do the will of God. The reason why the earth is spinning on an axis going around the sun at the place that it's at, the reason why the trees do what they do and the plants and the animals is because that brings the holistic welfare. That preserves the best interests of everything. And that's His will. That's His rahmah. That's His mercy and compassion and kindness. And so He decides that. Now we are the unique creation. We have free will. We can decide what we want to do. We can choose not to do God's will. We can choose to go against His will. So we are called to, through the prophets and through a natural thing we all have in us, is to align ourselves with the will of Allah. To align ourselves with the will of the Creator. But our specific purpose is to use our capacities, our skills, our time, our wealth, our influence, to bring about the best interests of everyone else around us. Just the same reason why everything else is operating. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. And I did not create human beings and jinns except for that they would serve me. They would do my will by choice. Because everything else is serving His will by default, by natural impulse, without choice, like the angels. So we are with this. And so then, what is His calling in doing His will? وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We have only sent you for one reason, to be that caring support for everything and everyone around you. So whether it be how you treat people, how you treat the environment, the land, the air, you are responsible for using your abilities to improve upon the condition around you. Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyya, he summarized in his book about the signing on behalf of God's legislation, meaning it's a book he made that people who would give fatwas, religious edicts and rulings. And he says in that introduction that the Sharia, the divine law, is founded upon wisdom, a divine wisdom that supports the well-being of humanity and this life and in eternity. He says it's founded upon truth, justice, compassion, and patience. Therefore, anything, any behavior of a person that is taking away justice and going to injustice, removing or stopping compassion or causing oppression, taking away people's comfort and causing harm to them, moving away from wisdom and good knowledge to nonsense and lies, all of those things are prohibited because they are causing the destruction of the society. And so that's the whole purpose of those laws. Now here in America, we are the richest country in the world by far. According to the historians of historic economics, the United States of America is the richest country the world has ever known in human history. And we have all of this technology, all of this amazing, sophisticated technology. With all of that money and all of that technology and all of these means to be highly educated, whether it be the practical ways of making money or whether it be the practical ways of inventing and being creative with what you do for the world, still, there are many behaviors that are normal in America and accepted by widespread culture as normal, but they are causing all kinds of harm to people's lives. Do you see the point here? So yeah, we have lots of money. Yes, we have the most amazing technology in the world and accessibility to it. But there are so many things that we do here and that is normal and acceptable by the government, by the economy, and by the general moral understanding of people that these are normal things. And yet they're causing so much harm to people and to society, to the air, to the land, to the sea, all of it. Why? Why would we be doing this? Well, you have to go back to the source. We said Islam comes from God, doing the will of God. And so he's telling us what we should do and what our purpose is and what is right and what is wrong. Well, here we live in a neoliberal capitalist society. That's the underlying value system. And the neoliberal capitalist society, its defining purpose is to make money. Profits over everything is what they write in their books. To make lots of money. And intrinsically part of this is, if you can make a lot of money and convince the government to make it legal, then that's great. You will make more money. And so we have a corporatocracy where all decisions being made by the federal government are highly influenced, if not fully influenced, by lobbying that comes from wealthy corporate donors to these people. Because 96% of all people who are elected to the United States Senate and Congress of House of Representatives, 96% of the people who win the election had more money used in their election than the one who lost. Which means 96% post-2013, which was the Citizens United Supreme Court ruling, which changed the nature of campaign finance, in which now corporations can give unlimited amounts of money to campaigns, right, in order to get what they want from those campaigns, which is to support their corporate interests so that they can make lots of money, even if it hurts lots of people, even if it's ruining their lives. And in many cases, they actually pay scientists a good amount of money, and social scientists, biologists, many other things. They pay these people lots, big salary to come out with reports that support their thing as well. Because that's how the society is made. So when you have a society like that, people are going to have a hard time realizing why things are difficult for them. Why things are so hard and difficult. Why is there so much suffering and pain that seems like it should be solved? Seems like it should be something that can be fixed. And so that's where it comes in. So you know when that child is running with the scissors, right? You say, stop! And he's playing some game. In his mind, he's got a sword in his hand, right? So stop! And then you go get him. Give me those scissors. This is dangerous. He's like, no, you just ruined his world. You have completely stopped his fun game that he was playing. You're a bad person. How dare you make this rule against my game I'm playing? But this child does not understand or know that those scissors could stab him in the face if he fell on them. You see? So we are all kind of like that because, again, the adults who are so much knowledge and money and stuff are making decisions in this country that are no different than a child, actually worse and more harmful than a child running with the scissors. And these are laws that make this thing legal here. You see what I'm saying? Just look at the data and the statistics. It's because they don't know what is hurtful to them. وَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُوا شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ وَعَسَىٰ أَن تُحِبُّوا شَيْئًا وَهُوَ شَرٌّ لَكُمْ وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ وَأَنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. It will probably happen that you will dislike something even though it's actually very good for you. Right? And I can tell you because I went through that change where I used to eat lots of greasy, salty stuff, lots of meat, lots of rice, lots of that stuff. And then there was this transition period where I started eating lots of vegetables. And at first it was like, oh man, the vegetable, because I had been brainwashed against my best interests. But I was looking at this 250-pound body going, no, this is not how I should be. So then I, over a couple of years, switched over. Now I enjoy vegetables. And I don't need to eat a whole bunch of all of this other stuff. I completely dropped. I used to eat all kinds of donuts, ice cream, all that. I stopped doing all of that. I'm not in Jannah. Jannah's there. You can eat donuts all day, better than Krispy Kreme. And you will never need to use the bathroom, much less will you gain any weight or feel anything or go to a doctor or nothing. That's Jannah, not here. But the trick of capitalism is about saying, here is all that you got. Make as much out of it. And that's a devilish concept. It's a satanic. فَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرُهُوا شَيْئًا وَيَجْعَلَ اللَّهُ فِيهِ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. That you will dislike something and He'll make lots of good things in it for you. And sometimes you really like something and it's terrible for you. So these are things we learn. So what do we do as Muslim? We analyze the cause and the effect and we see what is the actual outcome of this behavior. And then we know a very strong indication of what the divine law will be. And that's how actually many scholars said in the jurisprudence books. They said if you're seeing somebody taking an ayah or hadith and using it in a way that seems to be causing harm and suffering and problems, and you do not find any good in it, they are not understanding the ayahs and hadith that they are using. That's what they said, like that. It is impossible, Ibn Taymiyyah said, that sound logic that is talking about a observed moral reality would ever contradict with the teachings of Islamic law. And so it's about investing ourselves to learn what is in our best interest, to learn what is in the best interest of our neighbors. And so we have to invest. But is investments easy? Well, you just have to trust the one you're investing in. If you met some brother rolls up in the Bugatti, and he gets out of his Bugatti and he comes up to you. You guys know what a Bugatti is? Okay, there's a Lamborghini, Ferrari, something like that. Rolls up, gets out, and he sees one of us. And so then he says to you, look, this is what I've been investing in. This is my project. I'm going to do this and that and the other. I can set you up. And you're like, okay. And then what do you need me to do? He said, give me $1,000. And so you get your $1,000 and you hand it to him. So then as you're giving it to him, here's the process of the investment. You're like, are we sure about this? Are you really going to do this? Is this for real? And he said, yeah. And then you think, okay, I'll try it. So then you say, okay, when do I get my money? Can I come back to you next week and get my money? He said, no. You give me $1,000 and many years later, I'll give you hundreds of thousands of dollars. But now you have to realize it's a long-term investment. It will pay off in the end. Allah says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا هَلْ أَدُلُّكُمْ عَلَى تِجَارَةٍ تُنْجِيكُم مِّنْ عَذَابٍ أَلِيمٍ. Would you like me to tell you about a business deal? Who's talking? Bugatti guy? This is Rabbul Alameen. He's talking here. Okay? Oh, you who believe, I'm going to tell you of a great business deal. تُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَتُجَاهِدُونَ فِي سَبِيلِهِ and so forth. So Allah is telling you that there is a investment that you should be making. He's calling you to invest yourselves. All of you. Not the mashayikh and the imams and the da'wah people on YouTube. Every Muslim is supposed to be committed. But He also tells you that this world is not a place where you will just live in prosperity. There will be conflict and loss. Don't let that bother you. Appreciate what you have and accept what was not meant for you to have, and know that you're not in heaven. Because when bad things happen and you lose stuff and pain and suffering, you're like, well, this is obviously not heaven, right? وَلَنَبَلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. We will definitely, in your investment to us, that you would like to have the billions in the Jannat al-Firdaus, we will bring loss to you. You will lose wealth, you will lose family, friends, health. You will find that. So give the good news to those who are patient. True life is not here, it's in the hereafter. وَمَا هَذِهِ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا لَهْوٌ وَلَعِبٌ وَإِنَّ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ لَهِيَ الْحَيَوَانُ لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ. This worldly life, for most people, is just playing around and seeking after some temporal enjoyment. And then when they lose things, they're like, oh man, I'm ruined. I'm depressed. Now I need some drugs, some alcohol, something. Because they're not knowing where the void really is. So we are called to invest in our hereafter. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَشْرِي نَفْسَهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ رَؤُوفٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. There are people who sell their worldly interests, their selfish worldly desires. They give themselves up seeking the pleasure of Allah. And God is greatly gentle and caring to His servants. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا ادخلوا في السلم كافة ولا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين. O you who have believed, fully commit yourselves, invest yourselves completely in doing my will, He says. Come to know His message. Come to know the people who follow His message. Build and flourish among yourselves. Communicate to others. Alleviate suffering and pain. Speak truth. Stand for justice. Commit yourselves fully. And what is in between you and that? Don't follow the footsteps of the devil. He is your enemy. And that's why the whole entire Quran ends with the conclusion, with the surah that reminds us who's in charge of all people. And it reminds us that we have an enemy who's whispering into our hearts, getting down to the very core of who we are, which is to deter us or to deviate us from a commitment to our Creator, who is the rightful owner of ourselves, and to see ourselves as foolishly and falsely independent. So I ask Allah to preserve us on the straight path and make us among those worthy of His bliss.